What a lot of people don't realize is that I didn't have a dream to play in the NFL. I had a dream to play for Oklahoma. That was the motivator growing up. That's where my passion for football and love for the game came from, because of my family and because of what Dad had done. Hi, I'm James Winchester, long snapper for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, when I think about my childhood, I do remember sports being a big deal. Growing up in small town Washington, Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Sooners were a big deal. Hearing my dad tell stories about playing in the 80s, playing for Coach Switzer, and being a part of championship teams was something that I always dreamed about being a part of. And there was a lot of other sports, the baseball, the basketball, nothing wrong with those, but my goal and aspiration was to be a collegiate football player. Growing up in an athletic family was, there was a lot of competition, there was a lot of drive. We all played different sports, but I think we always looked at my dad as someone who had gone above and beyond. He had been a walk-on from a small school in Marietta, Oklahoma, and chased his dream for the Sooners. And so, he paved the way for us to really look ourselves in the mirror and say, hey, we can do this too. If he did that, we can do this. It was going to be a difficult thing to do. I had little to no chance to making it at the University of Oklahoma as a wide receiver, especially my freshman year. But the position of long snapping fell on my lap. They had an injury, and it was an opportunity to live out my dream. As a long snapper, as a specialist, you have very few plays to make an impact, right? But you also have very few plays to mess things up. I don't get very many opportunities to do this, a couple snaps a game, but make them count, and was able to do that in 2010, recovered a fumble that sealed the game. That was very special to me. Anytime I made a tackle, that was special. I truly felt like I maximized my time at Oklahoma. I realized that by the numbers, it was less than a 1% chance of me having an opportunity to go play in the NFL. I got a job in Davis, Oklahoma, right out of college, and started working down there. It was a day rate job, and that it would allow me to continue to chase a dream. I could go spend 2 hours in the weight room if I needed to. I had some family friends who knew the head football coach there at Davis, and he allowed me to go in and work out at the weight room. And I knew I could, be a long snapper in the NFL. I just needed the weight, needed to get better, as a snapper, and I needed an opportunity. Even though there was a small opportunity to make it, I just held to, I've got this one opportunity to try for this dream. And, my biggest thought process during that whole thing was, don't get to 30 years old and have what ifs. What if I'd have given it one shot? I was probably about a month and a half, 2 months away from totally hanging it up, and went to the last camp and had some looks and had an opportunity to come work out in Kansas City, and signed with the Chiefs about 2 weeks before I got married in March 2015, and then there was my opportunity to then compete. That nobody hands any jobs out in the NFL. You have to earn it. I do truly believe that if you truly love what you do, you have the ability to be more successful. When I personally look back, I think of all the lessons that youth sports and high school sports and college sports taught me about life. And you hear those things when you're growing up, but you don't really have the opportunity to apply them until you mature and get to that age. And so for me, being a father and thinking about how I'm raising my children and introducing them to certain athletics and sports, I think that's very important, because I think that's a huge part of their development throughout their life, and it's going to ultimately teach them how to overcome adversity, how to work together as a team. It's going to teach them to be a better coworker, a better neighbor, a better husband, father, wife, all of the above. And so there's so many lessons that I draw from that I look back and go, that's the way I want to raise my kids, and I want to not push them to play certain sports what I want to do. I want them to find what they want to do, their passion, to fall in love with what they want to do. But I certainly will be there to encourage them to find a sport, find something to get involved in, because it will better them later in life. You don't set out to inspire others, you set out to chase a dream. The odds might not be stacked in your favor, but being inducted into the American Indian Athletic Hall of Fame was extremely special. My first thought is how does that happen? What a cool honor. My second thought there was what a cool honor it is for me, but what an even cooler honor it is for my family. To have children and get to see them starting enjoying being a part of Chiefs Kingdom and getting to be a part of these championships and these Super Bowls has been so rewarding as a father, but it reaches so many more people than that. It was very special for my grandma. I thought, I said, hey, Grandma, my name might be on the pamphlet, for this deal, but this one is more for her than it is for me. Growing up, from as long as I can remember, my grandma has been at everything. I mean, every sporting event, every school play, every graduation. I mean, she was always there. So to get to this point and be recognized in her heritage, our heritage, be recognized in front of everyone, I think that's such a special deal, and I know that meant a lot to her. Our heritage wasn't always celebrated, and she grew up in a time where it probably wasn't celebrated quite like it is now. And so what a cool moment for her to see her heritage lifted up and, to a point that's recognized in the way that it was through the athletic ability of her grandson chasing this wild dream of football. What a cool thing that had to be for her, and I think I felt that. We all felt it, and that induction ceremony was certainly for her as much as it was for me. What together we're more means. It means we're pulling the same rope. We all have different gifts, talents, and helping others, doing what's best for the man next to me, and doing my job to the best of my ability so that they can do theirs. Being the best neighbor that you possibly can be, working together for a common goal to make one another better, and together we're able to accomplish great things.